Hello, my name is Niko. I live in the Netherlands, and I've been helping with Hope Step Japan for 9 years now. Here with us today is Mrs. Sonoda. Mrs. Sonoda lived in Fukushima until the nuclear disaster happened, and she was evacuated to the United Kingdom. Mrs. Sonoda has gone to the United Nations Human Rights Council to talk with them about how the people of Fukushima were being mistreated by the Japanese government. Um, so, yeah, thank you for being here with us today, Mrs. Sonoda.
Thank you.
So, yeah, what is the biggest reason you went to the United Nations Council of Human Rights?
Thank you, Niko. Last 10 years in Japan, many people try to get to the government to make it clear their responsibility. But the victim treated all problem created by the nuclear disaster was their responsibility. So the government hasn't taken responsibility for the nuclear disaster. Even many people tried to have a meeting and had a meeting with the government, but they don't listen to the victim's voices. So I had a chance to talk at the United Nations, so which is really important because international society can give a pressure to the Japanese government. So the pressure from abroad is very important as well, not just what's happening in Japan. That's the reason I went to the Human Rights Council.
Okay, so yeah, you went to help make international pressure for the Japanese government to help the people. What do you think, like, the best way is that people like you and me outside of Japan can help to generate this pressure to the Japanese government?
Firstly, I want you to know the actual information because we've got language barrier. So Japanese, very important information, very often don't translate into English or Dutch or any languages. So I want you to know, more information about the Fukushima nuclear disaster, and also try to work for the media is important locally, like a Dutch television, Dutch newspaper, and it will be a big help if the articles were published in your country about the nuclear disaster.
Yeah, so to make sure that as many people as possible know the truth of what happened there, of how the people have been mistreated and still are being mistreated today. How are the people there now being treated by the government compared to 10 years ago? Has anything changed really?
To be honest, it's getting worse because of 2019, the government lifted the housing support to the evacuees. So some people, had to be on the street, and some people really become difficult situations. Some, very sadly, some people committed suicide, and it's really but because of financially, mentally, physically, no support basically. So one reason is because of Japan is planning the Tokyo Olympics. So the government wants to announce Japan is okay, Fukushima is okay. So that campaign is very strong. So the victims are abandoned. That is the situation now.
Yeah, so because the Japanese government wants they want the Tokyo Olympics to do well, so they get a lot of profit, so they just abandon all of the people from Fukushima who need the help. So by making sure many people outside of Japan know the truth about what's happening there, we can create the pressure for the Japanese government to start helping these people again.
It is very important, especially like you, young people noticed what is nuclear. So what is a nuclear power station? So firstly, it's really important to talk about what is a nuclear power station, because there are some nuclear power station in Netherlands.
I think there is one in the Netherlands.
Yes, so same as in UK, I think hardly any debate. So it's important to talk about first. The firstly maybe between friends, family, and it's going to be proceeding. So that is get into the media or get into the international society. So everybody has got potential. So that everything can be a big help for the Fukushima victims.
Yeah. Yes. So everybody should know the dangers of nuclear power and nuclear waste.
Yes. So can I ask you a question, please?
Yes, of course.
So have you seen the news about the Fukushima nuclear disaster in your country recently because of 10 years anniversary?
Yeah, I have been sort of following the news through some Dutch news outlets like the Dutch NOS, and I've seen a few videos and articles about the earthquake and tsunami in Japan, but I have noticed quite a big lack of coverage on the actual nuclear disaster. They would mention it sometimes, but I don't think I've really seen any articles about the devastating effects of the disaster and what happened to the people, how they were treated, how they had to leave their home.
Yeah, it's a big problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So getting information and in the media is very important, very influential. So please, let's start to talk about nuclear issue with friends and family.
Yeah, I have been talking to a few friends about it a few days ago, and none of them really knew how bad it was, what happened there. They knew about the earthquake and the tsunami, but nobody really knew how the people were being treated because it's just not covered in any media.
Yeah, even if the natural disaster hasn't happened, human errors, terrorism, any technical fault can be the cause of a catastrophe. So even Dutch people has got risk to be a victim like me in the future. So very important to talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. Best way to really spread the message is just to talk to the people you know. They will tell the people they know, and like that, more and more people will know what happened, and news outlets will start writing about it, and hopefully we can make change.
Yes, thank you very much.